There you go.
Oh, thanks, Helen. Oh.
I am going to flip over to you being the host now.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you could just,
So do we say got it?
can you stick around for another minute or two?
Yeah,
Just to
sure.
make sure.
Oh, thanks. Oh, there's participants. I like your out to lunch picture.
It's like a Panama hat.
Picture.
There we go.
There we go.
What's interesting about Panama hats is they're made in Colombia.
Oh, okay. I learned something today.
Yeah, have some cookies.
It's funny.
Chocolate raisins and-
Okay, now I can see the participants, and then I just would click on your name and then where it's, you said there's 3 dots. Ellen, do you hear me?
No.
I do.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I see where it says make host.
I'm okay.
I don't see where it says
What
Share.
just talk.
you share your own screen, right? If I make you a host, like, let's say you're,
Yeah, you want to make me a co-host if you want to allow someone to share their screen. So if Alessandra, for example, wants to share her screen, you'd make her a co-host. So try to
that's
make me a
good to
co-host.
know.
Yeah. Click on the 3 dots next to me.
Okay. Let's see.
So try practice making me a co-host.
Okay. Let's see. Make a co-host. And then I still don't see 3 dots. Hang on.
No, you did it. Whatever you did it.
Where do
Okay, so making you a co-host, then you can share your screen now.
That's right.
I think we'll be okay. If
Yeah.
not, we won't.
You got this. And if worst case scenario, whoever shows up in person gets to visit.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll stay on for a few minutes just to make sure you get started.
Happy Valentine's Day to you and your wife and your kids.
Thank you. Thank you guys for letting me hang out with family today. I appreciate it.
No. Worse. We were chatting as a guest. So I guess we're ready to get started here.
Is it?
Oh, no, it's not even 7.
Not quite 7.
Okay, so that's fine. Some other people will
Soon.
join.
Wait.
Some other people hopefully are joining.
Yep,
Can you set up the recording?
Natalie, whoever that is.
he did.
Okay.
Somebody's coming. Hello?
There's the phase.
Oh.
And there's Alessandra. So are you able to share your screen right now, or do I need to make you a host?
Recording in progress.
Whoa,
One.
I forgot to add
No, we're good. We're fine.
it. Okay, and actually I didn't need to turn this on. So much junk.
Well, tape is yours.
Hello?
There we go. Yes. Well, it's touchless. Well, it's touchless.
Alessandra, I think you need to mute yours to reduce the feedback if you can.
So on your screen, do you see a piece of
Do I see it by your name or?
ILCG host me?
Yeah.
Did you set my off? Mute.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So I can see there's an echo. I think it, okay. Is that better?
You see an echo?
Yeah.
I think the echo might be coming from your computer, Alessandra, if you want to mute yours. Try that. And Deb, try unmuting yours. Deb, can you unmute yours? We can't hear you anymore.
How's that, everybody?
I think so.
Yeah, that audio is better. Thank you.
I think we're rocking now.
Mhm.
We're just gonna give it another minute or two. All we need is Alan's groovy music in the
I
background.
know.
Yeah.
I can sing if you want me to.
Do we want you
Well, I
to?
was-
You answer that.
I was gonna try and
You don't.
bring
You definitely don't.
the YouTube video of the song, There's a Meeting Here Tonight,
Mm.
There's a meeting.
here tonight.
Gotta hear that.
It's
Do it
like,
next time.
it's a gospel, one, but it's still fun.
Oh, that sounds like that'd be great right now.
Oh, Sandra, good pen, huh?
Is it? I have extra in my backpack if you want some.
But
Little
Alan, do you
stylus.
Yes.
normally unmute everybody?
Everybody get used to it.
Alan, are you still,
I got it.
are you still there?
I'm here.
Do you normally unmute everybody?
I just asked folks to unmute or to mute themselves, and they can unmute
Okay.
themselves when they want to chat.
Well, you ready to get started, everybody?
yes,
Welcome to the Valentine's edition of Sloan's Lake Citizens Group. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And we're kind of winging it tonight without our wonderful host, Alan Cogill. So bear with us.
he's the tech wizard.
Yes, he is.
All right, if you could put up slide number 2. 3. Excuse me,
Oh
3.
my goodness.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Officer Campbell was not able to make the meeting tonight. So she did send us the crime statistics for the Sloans Lake neighborhood and the West Colfax neighborhood. And these were as of February 7th. And what the top of the line for both the Sloans Lake is there were no murders. But, and we're on our way, if you go to third one down in the second category, burglary, and went up from 3 to 5. But the thing that is better is the theft from motor vehicles went from 11 last in December to 6 in January. And motor vehicle theft unfortunately stayed the same at 8. And
Well, no, he's looking at the,
Well, can everybody please mute unless you have a question? Or raise your hand if you have a question, I guess, put it that way. Thank you.
so then we can jump to the next slide. And these just reported offenses year to date. So the motor vehicle thefts went from 9 to 8, so we're down by 1. So the second one is really a summary sheet. The first page is more, has more of the good data in it. If you could jump to the next slide, which is West Colfax Statistical Neighborhood. And we're on a roll. In December, unfortunately, there were 2 murders and they have not kept pace, which is great. There is a big difference between the Sloan's Lake neighborhood statistics and the West Colfax due to all of the activity that happens along Colfax. For example, in December, they had 34 motor vehicle thefts. It's down to 22, but that's an awful lot of motor vehicle thefts in 1 month. If you saw the stuff on the news across Denver, and it is going down, but you know, if Sloan's Lake had 8 and they had 22, I think it's just a lot of the big parking structures that they have along Colfax that are susceptible to that kind of a problem. So the next slide. Oh, and that's the summary slide, so you can jump past that also. So they're having the Women's Community Academy, and it's a free event. It's April 27th and 28th, and you apply online by April 14th. Free interactive event for women interested in a career with the Denver Police Department. Must be 21 years of age and pass a background check. So that's out there
Very cool.
for people who want to add to the number of women in the force, and there are many more than there used to be. Okay, the next slide is talking about,
This is,
missed it.
what are we looking for
It,
here?
oh, it's down here, that one.
This one?
Yeah. So the District 1 Community Advisory Group is coming up next Wednesday at 6 p.m. as the District 1 offices. And they will have speakers come in and talk about it. They have the two police officers that are in charge of the north part of the district and the south part of the district talk about crime trends. They look at graphs, and charts similar to those, but they have more background on trending, what's getting better and what's not so. And fortunately for us, District 1 is in better shape than other parts of the city,
Wow.
which is nice to know. And they have maps pinpointing where all of these things occur within Sloan's Lake and the West Colfax. So if you happen to see one of the maps, there's all kinds of dots right along Colfax. And the interface of Colfax and Federal. Colfax and Federal, yeah. But specifically down by the light rail station at Federal, and I think it's 12th or 13th, there's a lot of interesting activity. Okay, the next person is Alexandra Dominguez, council aide for Amanda Sandoval, Council District 1.
Okay, thank you. Let me pull up my video here. All right. So in Council District 1, there's of course Gina, Melissa, and I. We always have office hours, so our next one's coming up are Friday, February 16th from 12 to 2. And you can sign up with that link at the bottom of the screen there. Next month, we also have office hours Friday, March 8th in person, and then Friday, March 22nd virtually. And you can sign up with that same link down below. We have our PRAB advisory board. And if you would like to mull it over more in detail, you can absolutely do that. I put the link for this whole slide deck in the chat, and I have emailed it to Tom and Deb. So if you would like that link, you can absolutely email them for it or email me to go over some of this more in depth. We have the La Raza Park Improvement Survey. So feedback is needed to help plan and design improvements that will work best for the La Raza Park improvements. Those are due by March 1st. Some of the improvements include revitalizing the playground, upgrading the basketball court, improving picnic areas, creating ADA compliant pathways, improving native landscaping, and an irrigation system overhaul. We have the Parks Legacy Fund meeting, so that's Wednesday, February 28th from 5:30 to 6:30. And the link to sign up via Zoom is in that hyperlink that says join the public meeting.
What do they mean by Parks Legacy?
So Denver Parks and Rec is creating the next 5-year plan for the Parks Legacy Fund, and that's a voter-approved 2018 ballot measure that implemented a 0.25% sales tax increase. And that benefits parks, trails, and open spaces. So and I'm sure our lovely representative from Denver Parks and Rec can probably give better information than I can, but it is just a way to get community feedback as to what the community wants to see moving forward in the parks. We have our Dottie Advisory Board, and as everybody knows, Alan is a member on that board. That's second Tuesday of every month, and you can sign up with the link on this slide. We have our compost bin rollout. So the reports from Dottie show that District 1 will receive compost bins in the first quarter of 2025. I know. But the good news is Dottie is releasing it based on which communities need the most help and education when it comes to compost. So District 1 is actually really heavily involved in composting currently. That's why they're last on the list. So they're trying to get to the neighborhoods that have more trouble composting so they can catch all the areas that they aren't great in and educate those residents before they add in the mix of residents who are already educated on that. You can get more information on Dottie's website, or you can go to the Dottie Advisory Board. We have the Federal Boulevard Pedestrian Safety Project. So that is for improvements on 25th Avenue, all along Federal in that area. It is anticipated to wrap up by fall 2024. And you can read in more detail what that entails as well on this slide.
There's a lot of construction going on there right now.
Yep.
That whole street is closed.
Yes.
From Federal to Elliott, on
Mhm.
25th.
Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Oh,
Fortunately, Federal's now open again. That was a mess.
Yeah, I got.
They
a
were
few
digging,
emails
they were
about it.
digging a hole to China, I think.
And then these are the travel impacts, like Tom was saying, Federal is closed to Elliott throughout the spring. I'm not sure what definitive. All I have as ETA is spring. You can join a mailing list for regular project updates as well if you click on that little link that says join the mailing list. We have the West 38th Avenue Corridor Study. So that's going to be tomorrow from 5:30 to 7 via Zoom. So you can sign up on that Zoom link. You can sign up for updates as well. And you can go to their webpage using that button at the bottom. And they are trying to improve mobility and safety as well as plan for a bus rapid transit and identify opportunities to green the corridor. This was a part of Councilwoman Sandoval's 2023 budget amendments that she put forth.
So this has been out for a while then, this information?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it was in the news.
Okay.
it should have been
Was
in
it?
our newsletter, yeah.
It was in the news.
Denver Snow Angels, so I know I go over it each time, but it is snowing, so if you know anyone that qualifies to be a snow angel, please let them know about this program. If you know anyone who qualifies to be a recipient of this program, please also connect those resources to obtain that.
In our block, guess who the snow angel is? Alan.
Oh, well,
Oh, that doesn't.
What a shock.
surprise me.
what don't you do, Ellen?
I think he needs a shout out for that.
He does. He deserves it. So Sorry, it looks like it's taking a second to load here. Wi-Fi, there we go. There is the map of 2023 map of House 1000 encampment resolutions. So you can see where those are placed throughout the city. We do not have any in Council District 1.
Well, it looks like
Well,
they're
there
all
be-
downtown.
Will there be some at some point or? That's
As
just,
far as I know, there hasn't been any officially announced.
The Zuni one was in Jamie Torres's district, right?
No, that was in Council District
Okay.
1.
But it's gone now.
The encampment
Yeah.
is gone, the shelter is still there.
Mm.
So the encampment was decommissioned. Actually, Alex and I were both there, helping to decommission that encampment, and so was Councilwoman Sandoval. The House 1000 update, so as many of you know, Mayor Johnson declared that state of emergency, and that expired on December of 2023. His goal was to house 1,000 before the end of that year. He has done so and exceeded such goal. As of today, 1,267 individuals have been moved indoors.
Yeah.
And you can access the dashboard using that link, and it breaks down more of the infographics and information to make it more digestible instead of just stats and numbers thrown at you.
Okay. Hey, I have a question about West 26th Avenue in between Federal and Zuni. And there seems to be still quite a bit of migrant activity over there. And so I'm just curious if you know what's going on there at this time, because I know they moved that huge encampment. So do you know?
Yep, so there's still a shelter there. There's just not.
In that motel.
That's right, yes.
I did not know that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, so there are still people being sheltered there. Right now, we are and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but we are discharging more migrants currently than we're receiving. So there is still a flow going in and out of that particular shelter.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Some House 1000 milestones, so over 1,100 units have been acquired since July 18th of 2023. Over 1,000 people have been moved indoors. 7 new sites across 5 city council districts have been brought up. There are 10 encampments resolved through housing that have been permanently closed. Family sheltering has been expanded by over 35%, and the mayor has participated in 60 community meetings. Migrant updates. So Denver is struggling to keep up with buses coming in. That has gotten better. Like I said, as we're receiving less, it is starting to slow down a bit. It looks as though Texas is actually sending more buses to Arizona than they were previously, which is part of why our trickle in has been lower. As of February 5th, the length of stay policy was re-implemented for families. So they are allowed 6 weeks in shelter. We do pause it when it gets dangerously cold. Currently, we're looking at up to 180 million as the possible impact on the city budget, which could account for as much as 15% of the general fund. The mayor has requested that all departments and agencies do cut back on their budget. I don't know if you've seen it in the press, but the DMV and Denver Parks and Rec have already implemented some of those cuts, as have some of the city council offices, Councilwoman Sandoval's included, to help with this crisis. There's also a half dozen local nonprofits that are working with those families. So as they're being discharged, a lot of them are being involved with case management. So they're not going out onto the street. A lot of them are being helped along the way to help prevent that. We are also pre-screening. We're creating pre-screening events and legal clinics to expedite work authorization. So I have heard of instances where migrants have been screened And then they've been helped with paperwork, and some of them are getting work permits as soon as 2 weeks after.
That's
Yes. And then one of the biggest asks that we have is volunteering to be a host family. I know not everybody can do it. I can't do it. I have a little studio. I can fit me and maybe one other person if they take like a deli number and wait in the hallway. So.
You're off the
no
hook, I
discretion.
think.
I have to be. If I could, I would. Other ways you can help is the Newcomers Fund. They're accepting monetary donations from the public, and those go straight to the city's nonprofit partners who help support migrants.
Is that the Rose Family
Yes,
Foundation?
yep. It is. And then you can also sign up and find out more information using that link if you click information here. Right now, the clothing donation programs for migrants include dropping off clothing to Richard T. Castro Human Services Center Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then Park Church Community Closet, they have very select hours, Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right now, obviously, winter clothes are very in demand. Hmm.
Yeah, that Park Church is right on Federal.
Yes, yep. And then if you would like to reach out to your US representatives, this is something that would be greatly appreciated if the federal government could help, not just Denver, but other cities that are experiencing this crisis. So we do have sample language and contact information for Senator Hickenlooper, Senator Bennett, and Congresswoman DeGette.
Thank you.
Trying to do it, we're getting blocked.
I got one that has all three, which ones to all send you.
We have our legislative spotlight, so City Council voted down a rezoning of 4850 Federal Boulevard and Chaffee Park. City Council also voted unanimously to adopt the Near Northwest Area Plan, and that includes neighborhoods of Jefferson Park, Highlands, Sunnyside, and Chaffee Park. And that has been a really, really big project that finally got adopted. The next step is implementation.
What was 4850 Federal?
That is right off the I-70.
That we were gonna build a.
Raising
some kind of
Cane's.
Something. whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Right, used to be a village inn.
Yes. that's
Oh,
right.
I see.
Mhm.
Mhm. So the people that lived around there did not want it.
Yeah, they did not want the drive-through lanes and the noise and the light. That city council voted that rezoning down. So as of right now, it's not going to happen, but I don't know what the future holds. Monday, there was a proclamation proposed for an immediate, long-lasting humanitarian ceasefire in Palestine and Israel, and that was voted down by city council.
What?
There was and then there was also legislation passed by city council previously that prohibited the removal of unhoused individuals and their belongings. Those are commonly referred to as sweeps in cold weather. That legislation being passed by city council was then vetoed by Mayor Johnston, came back to city council, and there weren't enough super majority votes of yes. That's 9 city council members or more to override the veto. We have our Commander Citizen Advisory Group, CAG, that Tom had already mentioned. You can email Technician Grodman or Campbell. Emails are provided here to attend either in person or virtually. And then here are some contacts for your Denver Police Department. So we've got Commander Ledger and Lieutenant Rebatorano up here, as well as your community resource officers, Technician Campbell, Technician Grodman. And then for any homeless issues, unhoused encampments, anything like that, you can reach the homeless outreach team comprised of officers O'Connell and Juarez. I have some other contacts here generally for Northwest Denver. And you can see all of these again if you click on that slide deck link I put in the chat, so you can view these whenever. And then lastly, we have 2 issues that we would like to get feedback on. We're looking to do a park cleanup in the spring. So we were wondering which parks you all would like to see picked up. So we've got Sloan's Lake or Halleck Park. And then secondly, wanted to know if Sloan's Lake Citizens Group wanted someone from Excise and License to come and give a presentation on new rules and changes made recently.
Is that for
Yes.
activities within the park or just
So it'd
general?
be like a trash cleanup.
No, no,
Oh,
but I
no,
mean the
the
excise and license.
What, if someone from excise and license came, the update on the new rules and changes regarding what
What?
exactly?
I believe there may have been some new marijuana rules in place.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and,
Okay, oh, yeah, sure,
Yes.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and is there a requirement to let neighborhood associations know? Was the old dollar store on Federal is going to be, there's a sign up for a dispensary, but we weren't notified about it. Is that a requirement or they just slipped it in?
I'm not sure, just because I don't work too closely with excise and license, but maybe as part of their new rules and changes, that might be something that has changed, so.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, and if you wanna email me, I can connect you to excise and license and see, if there was a miscommunication somewhere along the way, or if there's any resources I can provide you with to get better clarification.
With respect to the cleanup,
Uh,
would this be something like, I know a couple years ago, Amanda's office had a cleanup and, you know, a lot of people showed up at Sloan's Lake and they gave us, you know,
Little
wrapper things, the
picker-uppers
pickers,
and-
yeah,
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. That's what you're
yes,
talking about.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And they had sharps containers for hypodermic needles that we could have found. Nobody found one.
That's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes,
And Sloan's Lake Park Foundation does these as well.
Yes,
so
they
that
do.
would be-
So if we can all combine it together,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah.
yeah, we could,
I'll
if
talk
you
to
wanna clean Sloan's Lake
Mark, I'll
Park,
talk to Mark
yes.
about
If
it.
you wanna clean Halleck Park, probably gonna
Yeah.
partner with Sloan's Lake
Yeah.
Park Foundation, but
Uh-huh.
Okay, and.
Halleck is much smaller.
Halleck's
Yeah,
much-
Well,
it's up to you what we clean.
Yeah.
so I should
Can
know
you clean
this.
both?
They're only a block away.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So
Oh, it's really,
where is Helen?
it's at Irving.
23rd and
It is
Irving.
close.
Okay, yes, yes, wow, yes,
It's,
size difference.
20th.
it's a block away from the 20th and Newton side of Sloan's Lake.
Mhm.
Good job. Yes, and we're getting feedback on all of the north side, so, we are collecting information from each RNO that I go to. It's not guaranteed we'd pick Sloan's Lake or Halleck Park, but we just want to see community feedback.
And as a sidelight in the history of Sloan's Lake Citizens Group, the group was instrumental in getting the unused piece of property converted to it and
To a
dedicated
Halleck
as a
Park.
park.
It was. Yeah, and they, you know,
They
For the
used to
first
park
ones,
cars on it for
for
First
Bronco games.
Bronco games.
And so, but this was like back in the 90s, wasn't it?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So of the people here, who was Sloan's Lake Park? 4 or 5, 5.
Okay.
Okay, and then for those of you online, if you could comment in the chat, if you'd prefer Sloan's Lake or Halleck Park, I will take note of that. And then here are some ways, as soon as it loads, but
I can update you on that later.
perfect,
Okay.
that'd be great, thank you. Looks like my computer's being slow again, but I'm pulling up ways that you can connect with us, so that's via email, our phone number, our website, and our office hours, all of which can be found on this slide. And then to follow us on social media or get updates We have our newsletter. That'll be the first link that pops up, our website, our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, Twitter. And then were there any questions for me?
Will we give the information about the Parks and Rec crab? I wasn't sure.
Yes, it is in there.
Can you repeat the question?
I just wanted more information about the crab, the Parks and Recreation Board or whatever it was,
You
about
have to be
just the things that we would want to.
I would vote.
trash, but also,
Yeah.
what? The trash and all when you're done with this game, and then also, will you eat those tortellini again? You will, right?
Can y'all mute unless you have a question? Raise your hand, please.
So I'm pulling up the prop slide right now so you can see it. And you can always email me for this information as well. Okay, here we go. So PRAB, there's public comment available during the board's regular meeting on the second Wednesday of every month, 5:30 p.m.
And where would that be?
That's on Zoom. So you can register for the meeting using the link provided on that slide. If you Google Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, it'll take you to the city's page and you can sign up there. So that's another source that you can use if you want maybe a dog park where you have a safety concern, you see people having bonfires when they shouldn't be, or you happen to find a needle or anything like that. That's where you can go to register. Mhm. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you, Alessandra.
Yeah, thank you.
Once again, a very informative. Thank you very much.
Very much.
And you said that you could send that file so we can put it online and people can access all that data.
Yep, so anyone that sees the meeting through Zoom, they can click on the link that I put in the chat
Okay.
at the beginning of each meeting. And then I also typically email it to you, Deb, and Alan. And if anyone wants it, they can email me as well, and I'd be happy to email it to them directly.
Thank you so much. You are so tech savvy. We love it.
Don't give me too much credit.
Don't you have something from I? From district?
I think we can talk about that because it ties in with Dan Shaw. Because the council district aid from District 3 and Slavis was not available tonight.
So if it ties in with that Dan Shaw, should we have Tracy Jacobs?
Well, I think, right, we should have Tracy do her since she is here and Dan is online. Let's take care of. So this next up is Tracy Jacobs. She's the Northwest Supervisor, Park Ranger for Denver Parks and Rec, speaking on Sloans Lake Park, where she is headquartered. And there you go.
Hey everyone, I am Tracy Jacobs. I am the Northwest Park Ranger, as he said. I'm the Northwest Supervisor. I've been a park ranger since August of 2021, and I started out as a seasonal in the Northwest. And then I quickly got promoted to full-time downtown in the downtown district, so primarily working at Civic Center. And then I got moved as a senior ranger to East District. So City Park area, Cheeseman Pavilion, all that. And then I'm back here in the Northwest. Very happy to be back in the Northwest. And I've been the supervisor for about a year now. And yeah, so with Sloan's Lake, lots of changes and everything, especially with Denver's Nature coming into play. They have that program where they're allowing more green spaces to grow and be natural rather to promote the natural habitat here. And Sloan's Lake is such a vital place for birds. I I haven't seen a bald eagle yet there this winter. Has there been?
Up in the winter.
Okay, yeah, I usually see them on the ice, snacking on some geese, so, and I haven't seen that yet. Maybe the time's coming, I think it needs to be a little warmer. Yeah, so I'm really here to answer any questions that you all might have. If you don't even know what us park rangers do in the park, I'm here for that too. I think there's an update in the bulletin about what is allowed on Sloan's Lake currently. And as far as boats, it is closed right now. Well, there isn't ice out there right now, but we prefer to stay off the water until warmer weather comes around. And if there is any ice on the lake, we ask that no one uses the lake. And then, during the summer, it's usually just hand launched boats out on the water.
What kind of boats do you say?
Hand launched, so you
Oh,
can,
just
like a
kayak.
kayak, a paddleboard, yeah, canoes and all that stuff. Yeah, so, and that's what it's gonna be for the foreseeable future right now. I know as far as with the Sloan's Lake, I got to sit down and talk to the water quality and like, there's a team specifically for Sloan's Lake. I'm sure I can get more information from them of what they're directly doing, but I know that they're testing the water and I get weekly reports about the water during the summer. And they're out there quite a lot during the summer. I only really see them out there in the summer. And I'm not sure what the staffing is. It might be seasonal based kind of thing for the summer. But yeah, they're working pretty hard out there.
You know if there's a good place to launch a kayak out there?
Yeah,
Not by the jetty.
no, so I would recommend the best place to put in, you can put it anywhere. I would recommend over at the boat ramp, on the Sheridan and 25th or Byron Place is the best place. I try not to do the jetty because people tend to park right behind where our maintenance vehicles need to get in and out, in addition to the ranger vehicle getting in and out right there, and then they leave their car there and then we can't get out.
Personal experience, it's a lousy place to launch a kayak.
It is, I would agree. I see people almost fall in all the time there. And then we follow the rules that the state do for what's required for being out on the water. So you need to have your safe life jacket and then a whistle, a noise making device. Some people ask me about their phone. I'm like, well, no, I don't think it's loud enough. Yes, you can call somebody that's on the shore, but we do expect
I
that.
wonder if it falls in the water.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. I also would hate for my phone to fall in that water right now. So, and last year we didn't see too bad of a blue algae bloom. There was one starting right around where the dragon boat was, but it quickly cleared up surprisingly. So, not to say that it wasn't there, but my dog took a swim in it pretty close to it, and I was really worried about her. But yeah, that is pretty good, but I don't know anything specific to really talk about. So if you wanted to ask questions, go for it. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, you didn't talk about the permit, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I remember it was at least $25, maybe even more, and it's free now.
Yes, it
That's-
is free to go out onto the water now. You don't need a permit. You'll probably get bothered by a ranger making sure that you have your safety things with you. Just because it has been more on our radar. There's been a few drownings in some of our city parks recently. So we just want to make sure that it's safe. Yeah.
Come on in, Angela.
Yeah. I have a question about pesticide spraying. The website says that you post before spraying. I don't think I've ever seen any signs. Where do you post at Sloan's Lake? Are you spraying pesticides at all?
I'm not exactly sure what they're spraying out there. I could talk to them to see what that, and I can also suggest posting it. I know I did see signs in the office. I'm not sure where they're posting it at the time of spraying. But I can look in to see what they're doing about that for sure. Yeah.
Been here 4 years and it's been on the news every year on what they're spraying in there. So sure, it's in the archives. Yeah, they talk about it every year because that first year I was here was really bad. It was a COVID year.
Oh.
Yeah, so the information's out there.
I haven't seen it on the website. I've seen the quantities, the names of the pesticides they have available, but it didn't say what was being used where.
Yeah, and I can definitely reach out to the team that's responsible for that too, to.
Could you tell her where to look?
I don't know exactly where to look. I just checked with any of the news stations. I know they each did a story on it and gave detailed descriptions of where to find that information. And one of the news crews was on there with their camera as they were doing it. I think it was last year. I don't remember exactly what they were spraying.
Bugs or plants?
No, to kill the algae that was growing onto the lake to make sure that everything was balanced out. So they have to put something on there to combat it. I don't know exactly what it was, but they did tell what it was.
Peters.
Do you have any information about, what they're doing to try to, I know the lake is getting shallower and shallower and everything, to try to improve the levels of water in the lake, anything that they're doing particularly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know specifically what they're doing, but they are, with that water quality team, they are checking that, they're sampling things, I was out on the water this past summer and there are things floating around in there, so that's like stuff coming up from the bottom, floating up to the top. And I know that they're doing that study to kind of, they're trying to get data to inform their decision on the stuff.
What to do, or whether dredging or whatever is.
Yeah.
Well, this takes no time.
It's fast, you know. I have a question. So I actually had one and I was talking to Tom, sorry. But okay. So I walk around the lake like thousands of other people do year round. And right where the tennis courts start on the south side in the winter, it's the first thing to ice up because all those buildings block the sidewalk. And so it's super duper dangerous. And I'm wondering, is there anything that can be done? Like, it's of course wonderful that they plow all the snow all around the lake. But that icy spot is just a disaster. Yeah. So, and it goes on through the whole tennis court area and actually a little past that. So, is there anything that can be done about that?
Yeah, and I can bring it up to the team. I know that it's with ice, it's a little harder because it's a little unpredictable. Like it's there right now. I actually haven't looked recently, but I can say like, hey, focus on this. The team that takes care of Sloan's Lake, has a few other parks to take care of as well. But I can say, hey, can you focus on this area? And they will. Yeah, yeah.
That'd be wonderful. I think a lot of people would be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I am happy to have like a feedback. I love feedback about parks and everything too. So.
And I guess my other question is, how do we find out what the budget cuts are for Sloan's Lake? Because from what I understand from the mayor, it's not the same for all the parks. And the budget cuts, yeah. So if
I know for the rec centers, it's not for sure, because like in areas where they think it's more important to stay open for kids to keep them off the street.
Like Rudy will not lose out days, but maybe shorten in first thing in the morning.
They're trying to do what makes the most sense for, for each park.
Yep.
So, but I wouldn't know where to go, find what's changed.
This is all pretty new as of Friday, so I'm still also learning it. This is my Monday, so but with that, as far as I know right now, Sloan's Lake has not been affected. Staffing has been affected, and flower beds have been affected. So maybe those flower beds might not be as pretty as they have been in the past.
Well, we were talking about maybe some volunteering.
Yeah, is there any way
I would love to do that.
to have volunteers?
I mean, hey, bring it up and suggest it. I'm sure they have lots of. Yes, exactly. Yes, Brad is a great.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Flash mob.
Any other questions? Anybody online have any questions for Tracy?
Yeah, and I would say like Sloan's Lake is it's pretty great having Sloan's Lake as clean as it is. Other parks are not so fortunate, and so having that big of a lake where you can pretty much do a whole Sloan's Lake volunteer group clean and not find a needle is really, really good. And I also like to give a shout out to the maintenance team and the ranger staffing out there because they do an amazing job. We have a great maintenance team out of Sloan's Lake, so I want to give them a huge shout out. Yeah.
On 17th, the other day, I saw somebody stop the cart, get out of the cart and pick up an empty bottle out of the gutter. Throw it in his
Oh,
trash.
okay, yeah, yeah.
So they're going beyond.
They're really great. I work really well with them and you know, so yeah, it's a great working relationship there too. So grateful for the Sloan's Lake area. Yeah.
This is great having you here. I hope you'll be a regular.
Yeah, I would love to. Like, I love to make, even, I love learning about stuff. I've only been a park ranger for 3 years now, so learning new stuff and then also feedback too. And I also want to build, partnerships and all that stuff. I'm the education supervisor, so if you know of any like groups that want to come out and do like I'm doing like an Urban Parks Matter talk or education program that you can sign up through Outdoor Rec. Sorry, I'm putting my little input here. But we are trying to build an education program for the park ranger program because I think a lot of people think of park ranger up in the national parks giving talks and all that stuff, and we currently don't have that right now. But I'm starting that, and it should be pretty cool this summer. So keep your eye out in the Outdoor Rec guides for that stuff, and then also like if you all individually want to come out, I can do it through that way too. So
you're stationed at the boathouse?
yep, I'm at the boathouse, and so you know where the porta potties are. I'm on the other side, that gray random door with the canopy over top of it and the green canopy over it. That's my
That's on
office
the
right
west
there.
side of the building.
I think it's south side.
Oh, south, okay.
Mhm.
I don't want to hog up this meeting with these questions, but one more question. What about the boathouse that was supposed to be being renovated?
Yeah, I would like to know too. I'll be
Okay.
honest.
I
it's
think
supposed-
it was part of the bond that
Okay.
went through recently. So
Okay,
Councilwoman Sandoval had it pushed through in a bond. I forgot which one exactly. But if you want to email me, I can get you
Okay.
more information on
we'll
it.
follow up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know at one point it was supposed to be a community center. I'm not sure where that is now, but
Plans that they showed at the time had community space inside.
Yeah.
But they still had room for you to park your vehicles.
well, at the time, I think I'm gonna be kicked out of there, so I don't know where I'll be after that, but, and then, yeah, so Sloan's Lake
Probably
is,
over at the gun club.
that's potential, yeah, and then also Inspiration Point. So Sloan's Lake is one of the 55 parks that we patrol. I currently have a staff of me and 2 other rangers, so.
For all the parks in Denver?
For 55 of the parks for the Northwest District, then we actually have our largest crew right now of rangers. We're up to 60 some rangers, which is the largest largest program that we've had, I think ever. So, and we have vehicles now, so we can get out there and, we've been on the news for dogs off leash. We are enforcing that pretty heavily, because it is a huge safety risk in our parks.
Doesn't animal control, Denver animal, you used to call it an animal control, now we call it something else.
They do, if it's on the park, it's our responsibility, right now, to issue those citations and all that stuff, just because, it's a pretty big issue and it's tearing up a lot of our parks currently, so. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. Not everybody loves seeing the
It
ranger
also
vehicles
tears up the
running.
community. I mean, everybody builds a community and that's what these dog parks are doing. So with all the space, there's nowhere for us to take these dogs.
Yeah.
And you're trying to lower the emissions, but hey, get in your car and drive 3 miles down the street to go to an off-leash park where all the disease is because it's not being kept up and clean. So we have to come up with it.
Yeah, that's something that you can bring up at Prav,
I'd love to.
for sure.
I'd love for you guys to
yeah.
come out and meet everybody. Like, let's meet everybody. That's how you figure out what's going on. I mean, there's just been so many things. There was just a shooting at 20th and Julian. They stopped their cars and shot the gun 4 times. We don't know what at or at whom, but they would not have done that had there been dogs at the park with people, because there would have been too many eyes on them.
That's it.
And thank you very much, everybody.
All right.
And thank you for coming in and.
And we really do thank you.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to have a face attached to the name.
Yes, yes, I'm Tracy.
Makes it personal. Okay, next on the agenda is Dan Shaw, and he is the head of the West Colfax Business Improvement District. And he'll be giving us some updates about what's going on West Colfax bid and talking about the plan to remove some proposed greenery from the streetscape on Colfax.
Okay, hi everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Um,
Valentine's.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a project that's been in the works for maybe 9 years. And 9 years ago, some of you may remember Reimagine West Colfax. And if you let's see, I think is it who's running this meeting? I'm sorry, is it Tom?
Sounds like
Who are you?
Yeah, Tom Brun, co-president with Deb Neely of Sloans Lake
Deb,
Citizens.
yes, Deb Neely, right. Hi, Deb.
Hey.
Deb, is it possible that you can share your screen or?
And hold on, let me.
Yeah, I mean, if you could
what I can
open
do
that
here.
Reimagine link, the link is only on like one word, but it should be a live link. Anyway, this is going to be some images.
One.
If you scroll down, there's a bunch of images for Reimagine West Colfax, which we did. Basically, what this was a design demonstration where we shut down a couple of lanes of Colfax near where Little Man is now. And we added bike lanes, we added a median with greenery, and we added bulb outs with greenery. We also had music and food and, I think there was even beer. I think there was beer, but anyway, all good stuff. So we had a lot of good participation. It was really fun. A lot of surveys done at that time to elicit feedback from the community. One of the top findings that we weren't necessarily anticipating was how much greenery was important. And we were lucky in that if you can, have you been able to pull that up or?
I don't know why we've had these.
I mean, I've been having, it's not always the easiest thing to share your screen. But I could, let me just see if I can, hang on, let me pull up what I wanted to pull up and then I'll try to share my screen. That might be a more effective.
It's not coming up. Sorry. How frustrating.
Well,
And normally, Dan, we have a wonderful host here and I'm having to wing it tonight. So I'm sorry.
Okay, so I think I can share my screen. Looks like it. So
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
let me just do that and then give you some imagery from Reimagine West Colfax. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this is a bike lane with greenery and people, and then we did a parklet, and you can see the prominence of greenery in the whole thing. This is a median that was created with greenery and such. So basically, that really set a vision for what we and we did a bunch of surveying that what people wanted that guided us along the way. And so one of the things that we were able to do after that was to really okay, what would this actually look like? We hired HDR engineering, and they came up with some plans, and I'm going to try to pull up here. I'm going to try to pull up if I can figure out how to stop sharing and all that stuff. Why can't I do that? Why can't I go back to my Zoom? Oh, here it is. So everything, single one of these platforms has its own fun, different approach. So now I'm going to have probably a harder time, but what I'd like to share, or yeah. Files.
I had a couple of graphs that I got. that I
Yeah.
can show.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
really
what you're
where I
looking-
would like to go. If you could pull those up.
Okay, hopefully it'll come back.
Okay.
Come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one, or do I also have this one?
Just either one is fine, but if you could do the one that's a chart with the boxes rather than the pies. Did you share it?
It's on there. Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh,
you not
good. You
see
can see it. Okay, so that just sort of gives you that lay of the land, starting with Reimagine. And then chronologically, we did the HDR. We used that to partner with our allies on East Colfax and get 20 million in bond funding in 2017. And then that project was done, planned in 2018, 2019, 2020. And we thought we had a great, what we wanted, one of the biggest things that we really pushed for in those plans. I mean, there were a couple of things, but one of the major ones was landscaping on the medians, not just plain concrete medians. That was in the 100% plans that they developed. And so actually, in addition to that, after that happened, West Colfax was designated as part of the West Area Plan as a green amenities corridor. And then finally, lo and behold, Public Works did their bidding. Bid the project, and it was way over budget. They found a little bit more money, but they in the end just announced 2 weeks ago that they were going to value engineer the greenery entirely out of the project. So this is pretty upsetting to me personally, just because I think it's so important to Colfax, both in terms of its, what it would do for safety. It is improve the safety component of what a median does. It establishes a larger buffer because it actually is physically 18 inches high compared to a regular 6-inch curb. It also has some heat island benefits. It also is a softening effect on Colfax, which I don't have to tell you guys, that would be a great thing. And so on the heels of that, Dottie dropping the bomb on us, is, transportation infrastructure department. And yet you heard a minute ago about the budget cuts and the tightness on the fiscal side. Although this is, capital fund, so slightly different. But in any case, we did a survey, which is the other thing, if you could pull that up, Deb.
Sure.
And so what we did is I got Lickety Split a survey together and sent it out. And the results of the survey, I'm going to just show you the results, then actually share the survey. On my screen, I can do that as well. But
Let me know when you do that, because I can't see. I'm in a different program right now.
actually, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen because
Okay.
I can do everything from
Cool.
the here. Probably at this point. Okay, good. I can get it. All right. So here are the questions. But well, first of all, here's the before with greenery, maybe
Nice.
with some modifications, because they said that you can't have trees on Colfax, notwithstanding the fact that we have trees in medians on Colfax. But and this is where we are now, which is a wholly different prospect. And then, so a number of constraints. We noodled on it. I got with Jill Locantore, who's, a part of the brain trust that helps my efforts at DSP. She's at DSP, and people probably know her from Walk Denver, DSP, Denver Streets Partnership. Anyway, so she came up with, all right, look, if you really have no further budget, then instead of just building this everywhere, how about we build it in places like that and in other places? And this is where you have to like, sit down, please. It looks like you're sitting. You have this, some version of, flexi posts, which I personally find ugly, and really not, and kind of sad. But if you build this, the problem is that you're done building because whoops, if you build this, there is no retrofitting there's no raised median, there's no underground borings for the irrigation, there's nothing laid, there is zero. You've gotten nothing done except for steal over the prospect of any greenery ever happening, in my opinion, in our opinion. And so, okay, fine. We'll phase it. We'll go back and beg. We'll find more money. We'll look for a commitment from the councilwoman. In this case, it's Torres, who's now completely 100%, covers West Colfax. But and get a commitment to go back and get more money, come back and finish the project, and instead of having medians consisting of these things with paint and posts. Now, the one thing to note is that because of the way the city stacked the financing, and what the key source here, the biggest source is CDOT, their Safer Main Streets grant, which requires, and in that grant, I'm told, they specified all 18 intersections. So there has to be some treatment at every intersection. You can't just sort of tighten the scope or, limit the geography of intersections that you're doing. So this at least gets us to the Safer Main Streets. I don't know. I have a conversation with CDOT tomorrow. We've been promoting this idea. The results of the survey are pretty, so, these are all pictures and stories, but let me give you the response here from the community. And so with I guess today now it's 275 responses, very, very high percentage, like a practical unanimity, are like, greenery was critical for my support for this project. A lot of people, including the businesses in West Colfax, are skeptical about it to some extent. And so, especially in the way that it may hinder vehicular access. I mean, I've always argued that, pedestrian access is at least as important for them, and that's generally true. Then would you be willing to do that trade-off that I just described? And that is at 82%, which is strong, very strong. It's like 82% is pretty good. It was higher before, I don't know. And then if you want to look at the results of who there's a bar chart. Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing that I would say is that the number of responses here has mostly been going up lately in the visitor category. So I don't know who those people are, frankly, but the results still are holding pretty solid. The numbers were higher, the percentages were higher, but you can see that there are, some 40 businesses, 167 residents, and then you have the rest. The third is, somebody else, really, somebody who's ever been there, really. So, the survey is open, as you can see. I guess there's actually 277 responses. And I would, Deb has the link. If you guys want to, hop on it. It's a quick survey. It asks for it also has a narrative component to it as well, and the responses, and we're certainly going to be looking at those when I pull everything together, but we haven't gone through them. But you can see there's a lot about greenery, even in just glancing at those sentences. So this is the kind of situation where it's a political situation. You guys, I know, are more friends with Amanda and her team. And I think that's great. So I know that she and Jamie were at a meeting yesterday with Dottie leadership. I know that Amanda and Jamie are, pretty close, aligned, they tend to be aligned. And so like, if you wanted to do anything in relation to this to get pressure, sort of like express your support for any element of what is being proposed here, maybe that's great. Even opposing the project in entirety, whatever it is you want to do is an option. We can sort of more, like do not do anything until I mean, their mobility committee, they don't really do anything as a group, but their mobility committee, sent a letter saying, we need to be consulted before a plan is finalized. So, and stop the project before then. The project was supposed to start this week. So the timing between there's an extreme lack of good faith on the part of Dottie here in not engaging with anybody, like could have done that in the fall. I would have been happy to have this conversation with them in the fall.
I was just gonna ask you that because from what I understand, there was a meeting, a Dottie meeting, and there was some hell raising going on.
There was some hell. And actually what
Yeah,
happened was that leadership was on the next call. So that's good, because that's when we floated this idea in the first place. I mean, tippity top leadership. So, there is, I think that was probably more in response to like things going like all the hell in that earlier January CAG meeting. But we've certainly been rattling, just been pursuing anything we can here to get them to reconsider. This is budget neutral, what is being proposed here. I think there's questions about what happened to the budget altogether, but I also think that we might have some leverage just because of the community uproar and their delay in getting back to the community on this. So I think it's a possibility. It's obviously a ridiculously tight budget environment. I mean, that was some crazy numbers. And I heard there was from migrants arrivals and all that, managing all those arrivals and everything like that. And like there's an article in the New York Times, my wife tells me, about this in Denver,
wow.
which I haven't even found it, or looked. But yeah, I mean, so
This is good.
I mean, it's terrible, but I mean, it's good to get the
Right.
coverage, but it's bad to.
I understand, yeah.
Dan, I want to thank you
Yeah.
for this. But I have an observation.
Yes, please.
The raised medians seems to help with Safe Streets Denver, and it cuts down on jaywalking, not at intersections. And if you go over to Federal Boulevard, the place where you see the jaywalking is from that 3/4 of a block north of 26 that just has a turn lane. North of that, where they have the raised things, you don't see people cutting across in the middle of the block.
Right.
And that's where people get hit and killed.
That's a good point, Tom. Yeah. And that's a really good point. I mean,
because if you
clearly they're more safe in terms of keeping vehicles in their travel lane, at least travel direction, let's say. But that's a really good point too. The other thing is that when you have, sort of vertical, things in the road, like trees would be best. But even any kind of plantings, it does tend to make you feel more constrained on the roadway. So it's not that wide open road like you get in Utah or something, where people are going 80 miles an hour as a standard. So, I mean, and it just at the extreme, but, just sort of tightening that up more. So there's so many advantages of it. And it's, to me personally, I just think, it's like about doing things right. It's almost like don't do it if you don't do it right. I kind of feel
Right.
that way. And I feel like this is a perfect example of a disinvested neighborhood. I mean, that's the other thing I didn't even mention yet on the equity side. It's a gentrified neighborhood now. There still are more than 1,200 units of affordable housing and public housing in West Colfax, but nevertheless, historically underinvested. So it suffers a lack of good infrastructure in comparison relative to what you find on the east side of town. So, I mean, with some exceptions on that stretch of federal, Marshall told me I'm working with them now at the federal bid, which is something I want to mention to you guys, because we're doing a branding survey that I sent to somebody over there, but I don't know if anybody got it. So I'll send it to you, Deb, and you, Tom. But
Yeah, can you put it in the chat? Do you mind putting the survey in the chat?
this one, yeah.
The survey link?
Mhm.
Thank you very, very much, because I don't have it fully available.
Yeah, but anyway, Marshall was telling me that Vanderburg, who I assume many of you know, that they advocated for that median, in the 90s or something. And that's when it went in with the parks maintaining it, which, is the other thing about the medians on West Colfax and the greenery was a commitment from the parks to take over maintenance. So it's a pretty important part of that. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share here so that I can get you this document.
Thanks.
And then so like I mentioned, I'm working a few hours a week to help the federal bid as well. You guys know that district? Leslie Torozowski was working there. You guys are familiar with that at all?
Yes.
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 Okay, Marshall Vanderburg. There's some other people. Anyway, so it's that stretch between 22nd and 27th, and also, like Elliott, 25th, where there's construction going on. I'm sure you've noticed that.
Yeah.
That area is doing a rebrand. That bid is doing a rebrand. So I sent the general email and a survey link to get input from you all, because we can ask people in Jefferson Park, and they kind of feel like it's their geography. But in truth, if you're going to Snarfs, if you're going to Santiago's, if you're going to, I don't know, Chiba Hut, those are all in your neighborhood. So that's why I sent you that survey.
Well, thank you very much, Dan, and keep us posted on this, and we hope to have you as a bi-monthly or monthly contributor.
Yeah, I mean, I can swing by. I can swing by when the
keeping us
occasion rises.
posted on what happens with this, but it's hit the fan and where it's going to land.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted, Tom, and
All right,
everybody
thank you
else
very
too.
much.
All
And
right.
we've got
Good evening.
another presenter coming up. And thank you very much, Dan. Right now, we're going to be having Joanna Ross Sains, who moderates a question and answer with Denver Mayor Mike Johnston. And this is a recording from February 10th meeting of the Denver INC.
Oh, okay. Sorry, folks. Here we go. This is actually the very beginning of the recording of the INC meeting, so. Sorry.
Like,
Yes.
I just thought that that covered wrapped together a whole lot of what we've talking about, questions about why Parks and Rec was chosen early for the budget cuts, because posting or not posting availability of summer jobs, I mean, they actually try to do it right, unlike sometimes the city agencies, they will repave and 3 weeks later they'll dig up the street. So it was, the next piece, if you could go to slide 9, Deb.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta go. It's 8:30 already.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Sorry, this
Yes.
ran over.
I didn't realize it was gonna be longer than that.
Yeah.
I didn't have that much time.
It's
Yeah,
just,
so you
it's just talking about the last things on the item there, and it's just kind of talking about the prom screenings. So you can grab it off of the agenda and
Yeah.
And there's a
Yeah.
recording,
So sorry.
there's a recording of this too.
Yeah.
But
Do you,
There's a
do you have a
recording.
computer at home? You could watch the
Yeah,
recording?
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thank you guys
Yes.
so much.
Oh, thank you.
It's interesting.
thank you, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, this is a fundraiser for the Sloans Lake Park Foundation, and it is gonna be Friday, February 23rd at the Sons of Italy on West 32nd Avenue. They, it has nothing to do with my experience, but it's the prom of the 1980s. I think I went to proms in the 60s, so. But anyway, it's a, part of what fundraising that they're doing to help improve the water quality and of the lake, Sloan's Lake. Then we've got coming up the next slide, this Friday, it's a free movie, and it's at Mile High Church at the corner of Alameda and Garrison, and it's Seeding Change. The Power of Conscious Commerce is about businesses that consider the social, environmental, and financial impacts of their companies and address some of today's most challenging issues. And it's from this coming Friday, 7 to 8:30 at the Community Center, Alameda and Garrison. Then the next INC meeting will be Saturday, March 9th, and it will be within our area here. It's gonna be at the Mount St. Vincent facility, which is at
41st and Lowell.
41st and Lowell. And it is hosted by Amanda Sandoval and District Council District 1. The meeting, following the meeting, the general IMC meeting, there will be a tour of the facility, including the chapel where the Pope held mass for the World Youth Day a number of years ago. Being a facility for children, getting access to it is probably quite problematic, but this will give us a chance. I've driven by it for years and have never stepped foot in it, so that's a good opportunity for us. And the INC always has good refreshments for their meetings.
Yeah, they do.
Then Deb, slide 11.
Slide 11.
Yeah.
This is it, sorry.
Okay, well, here.
Okay, here, you put it on the camera.
Hang on, let me go back to,
I can see you.
can you?
Yeah.
Hey, no, you
I have zoomed it up.
Anyway, we do have t-shirts available tonight. It came from Sloan's Lake.
Is it?
It is a,
No, it's not.
no, it's just
It's
backwards.
just backwards.
Backwards. And they're available, adults are $25, kids are, youth sizes are 20. We have large and extra large adult sizes.
And
I had to
medium.
order some from you.
The shirt itself is not backward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's a a thing that I saw on Zoom that you can have the camera not do things reverse.
Okay, well, figure that out.
But
another day.
we're learning. Anyway, so our next meeting is Wednesday, March 13th. Since it's a leap year, we don't have to shift the day, so it'll be Wednesday, March 13th. And you have a copy, did you get a copy of this agenda? There,
Is that what,
They're
I
out.
can grab one.
yeah, okay.
So that's it.
And that's it, and thank you
Thank
all
you
for
for joining
joining us, and
Everybody who joined, thank
and it
you.
is recorded, there'll be posted a link to the recording of this. And that's how actually I accessed the mayor's comments, was because I was at the meeting and noticed they recorded it, yes.
Yeah, does he have anything to add?
He ended up with my name because I had signed up for the link.
Mhm.
So when everyone from the administration has joined the meeting,
Mhm.
you had like 4 Alex Gutierrez's on the meeting. I was just like, I'm multiplying. Because it's Valentine's Day, I think we should all take a picture. What do you guys
Aw.
say? A little
Yes,
picture of us
absolutely.
together.
Okay.
Sloan's Lake love.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you too.